Concrete is just a few days away, so we are ready to start laying out for the foundation piers. It's really not going to be a whole lot of work because we're only doing 4, and yeah, I don't think it's going to take too long. We're going to have to take down this section of fence, but I'd like to keep it set up so that we can close it again at the end of the day, just to keep the dogs inside. Greg is just milling up some stakes that we are going to use to do a string line, and we've already got everything out of here. He's already graded the area like you saw in the last video, so we're just going to jump right into it. Ooh, what are you doing?
Something like that.
So we're going to be doing 4 piers, and this one on the corner of the house is actually just going to be a post because that's our bathroom window and we want that to go outside still. So we're going to have the start of the addition on the edge of the window, and our gas line comes out right here. So we'll just do a covered area for the propane tanks, and we'll have a nice post coming down. I think that's going to look really good, and that's the plan.
Hammer, I need your help.
Oh. Is that gonna be out far enough?
Yep. Pretty sure.
All right, we've got our string line laid out, all square and everything. Now we're going to draw the lines and then figure out exactly where the piers are gonna go. And shouldn't take too long till we're ready to start digging.
Much better.
We're all done with the layout, so now we're gonna start digging. Greg's just gonna tidy up these string lines that we've got out, get them out of the way so that he can get the tractor in here. Come here! Steve! Hi! Where you been, little dude? Always digging.
Well, I'm the only one who's certified to dig, Katie, aren't I?
Yeah.
Okay, well, those holes are not square, but they are level and they are flat. And they're level and flat. They're both the exact same thing. I just said it twice. They are level and they are packed. I'm really happy with this, with the earth that I got down to there. There's lots of rock content, hard to dig for most of it. I'm thinking that it's going to be a fantastic foundation for this little teeny addition that we're putting on here. So we ended up doing an extra hole for a pier just to minimize the span on our beam. Probably wasn't necessary, but we just are gonna overbuild this so that there's no troubles. And that's what you do. So I'm gonna try to keep these dogs from jumping in the hole and kicking all the dirt in. Probably gonna go inside because it is the end of the day. And yeah, we're pretty happy with that.
Steve! 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 Where are you? Come on! Hi! Mommy!
I had a big tool the last time we did this. That was not this little thing.
Oh. And there we go, no messing around with tie wire here. Those are
for the footers at the bottom of the hole. And anytime I get to pull out my welding stuff is a good time. So I get to learn a little bit more. Even though I'm just doing tack welds, I've never welded rebar before.
Here they come.
Holy mackerel, that's a powerful drill.
Now what?
Now you bend.
You need me to hang
power.
off of it?
Look, one finger, basically 2 fingers. Bending 5/8 rebar. Boom.
So strong.
I impress the girls. Is it 90?
Not quite.
How's that?
Yeah, I'd say that's pretty good.
Okay. Damn. Oh, not quite yet. Not quite yet. I'm gonna stick that in the end. It's not that big of a deal, but
What's squeeing over there?
well, that's easy enough. I can just put it all the way down. I don't know. It sounds messed up. It sounds messed up though, doesn't it?
This can go away now. This one.
This.
Do it?
You want to do it? Bring it all the way down right here. Right here.
Twisted.
You have the power. Push it to the ground. Slam it down. Come on. Boom. That's it. Rod buster. You want to do one more?
Yeah. Satisfying.
It is. See how fast you can do it.
Oh. There.
Perfect J-bars. Okay, and there we have it. 5 J-bars, 5/8 rod. Sorry, 5/8. What's this stuff called? 5/8 rebar. 5/8 rebar with pegs on it, so we can post it into the ground so that it stays where it needs to go. I've got my footer, grid, I guess you would call it. I want to level with you for a second. See this right here? I spent $75 on that. That's a old welder, a little with the you'd call it an AC buzz box is what it's known as. I can melt metal at my place now. I can melt metal all day long with that thing. And if I break something, I can fix it myself. So I spent $75 on that. I got this auto darkening helmet from Canadian Tire for, I think it was $130. Pair of gloves like this, even though I'm wearing one because I couldn't find the other, that's another $20. Like for under $300, you can learn to weld. If you're, there's no reason not to, honestly. If you're someone who lives that uses machinery or has I mean, there's no reason not to learn for anyone to weld. It's super easy to do. Now, I can't brag about how good my welds are, but what I can brag about is my capability to fix things when I need them fixed. And I didn't even invest in anything. I think you can get a little pack of rods for like the rods that I use are 6011. You can get a pack of those for $20. And yeah, go get a welder. Learn how to do it. If it doesn't matter if you're an old lady or an old man, go get a welder and learn how to do it. It's fun to do, and it's just something that makes you more self-sufficient. So anytime I get to weld, I enjoy it, and I think you would too. So I don't really know how to start this. We had a pretty big accident happen yesterday. Luckily, everything went okay. I could have died yesterday. We had a pretty big accident. I'll explain it in a second.
T-shirt saved his life.
Yeah, I'll show you my t-shirt. So, this is my t-shirt.
You're kind of close to the camera.
Yeah. This is my t-shirt. There's a little blood on it. I was cutting rebar in this hole, which is 2 feet by 2 feet by 3 feet deep. Before I started cutting, I knew that I should have listened to the voice that I usually listen to in my head. And I know you guys are gonna rag on me for not being the safest person, but I had a angle grinder with a cutoff wheel, an old cutoff wheel that I have a feeling was wet at one point, in a confined space, without a guard. And I was cutting rebar, and I was the last piece I had to cut because I needed to cut this piece behind me down. And the blade exploded at the very end of cutting the rebar. It jumped up. It cut my arm open here and bounced back, got caught up in my shirt, and the motor of the grinder actually stopped inside of my shirt. It was buzzing. It was going bzzz because it couldn't move anymore. So
at which point that gave you time to jump out of the hole and unplug it.
I unplugged it before I jumped out of the hole. You can see behind me.
Oh,
well,
okay.
I unplugged it immediately, as quick as I could. Katie very quickly grabbed a towel. I saw for a second what was going on, and I applied as much.
We're going to the I need to go to the hospital.
I said, it's time to call an ambulance. This is serious. Like, let's get in the vehicle. So we had to get in the vehicle. We had to put the dogs away. I noticed at that point that there wasn't any arterial bleeding. So we put the dogs away because I wasn't sure if I was going to be over. Like, we are not close to the hospital, especially a hospital that
can manage
something serious. Yeah. So
we have a smaller hospital,
a little town hospital about half an hour away from us. But there's only one ambulance on, and they just got back into town because another hospital was shut down and they had to take someone from
an hour away
to our little teeny hospital.
Which doesn't make sense that they wouldn't have an ambulance in their town, but
yeah,
anyways,
I don't understand.
The medical system in Canada, or BC, probably all of Canada,
it needs to be revitalized, we'll put it that way.
Yeah.
So luckily they were in town and they were able to come assist us. I mean, Katie could have taken me to the hospital, but I was worried about her passing out. She's not good with blood, and there was lots. And
we didn't know, like, you were alert. We didn't know if you were going to go into shock or like what was going to happen.
Yeah.
And I mean, if he's going into shock or vomiting or anything, I have to be there to flip him over and do all that stuff.
Yeah.
So we just called the ambulance. That's what they're there for.
Yeah. So long story short, I'm not going to show you the picture of what my arm looked like because we will be this video will be demonetized because you cannot show that stuff on YouTube. It was very ugly. But I have 4 muscular stitches, sutures, holding muscle together in my arm here. I have 24, I believe, staples holding 3 slits of 3 major cuts together, and they had to work very hard to bring my skin back in order to staple it. In fact, they had to try a few times with staples. And this was the one that scared me the most. And actually, while we were going down, so I've got 2 staples in my stomach. While we were going down the road to meet up with the ambulance.
No, it was before we got in the vehicle.
Yeah, okay, so it was before we got in the vehicle. I needed Katie to just take a look at my stomach and make sure my guts weren't hanging out. So the reality of the situation is, if I had an arterial bleed, I would not be standing in front of the camera today. I would more than likely bleed out. We don't have a tourniquet. We have bought tourniquets, but we can't even buy them at the pharmacy nearby. I actually had to order them off of Amazon. So I bought a tourniquet because that would have been, I'm maybe an inch, who knows, how far away from my main artery with a broken angle blade. So that takes chunks out, and it did take chunks out. I have full movement of my fingers. I have full feeling, other than a little bit right here. Of course, there's going to be some nerve damage. My guts aren't hanging out of my body. I didn't hit an artery. I didn't die that way. But both of those are real possibilities in a small hole like that where I can barely move around with a tool like that. So believe me when I tell you, the last thing I need is I told you so's, because we have 122,000 people who subscribe to our channel. I want you guys to celebrate with me that I am still standing here, because and
you still have your hands,
and I still have access to all my motor skills and everything. In fact, I'm not even in pain, and I'm only on Advil. So, it happened. It's called your weenus. It sliced up my weenus. But,
just don't slice it off.
Oh. Anyway, we're going to be a lot more safe around here, and we're going to take better steps because we are remote, and we're going to think about that a lot in the future. But I don't need you guys to tell me to be more safe, because I'm well aware of what I'm doing up here, and I knew before I even got in that hole that I should have smartened up, but I was in a rush. So all's well that ends well. We can learn a lesson. We can tighten up our safety a little bit.
Taking the day off.
Yeah.
Took last night off.
Of course. I got home from the hospital at 8. I didn't even know if I was going to be coming home from the hospital. I figured there was bigger damage. But got lucky.
Yeah. So we're going to wrap this project up in the next video. Because we've got concrete coming tomorrow, and we got water in the holes.
We just had a huge rainstorm. There's water in the holes. We don't have our sauna tubes on yet. It won't take long. We'll get it.
Yeah.
But we'll do that in a minute on the next video.